Consumption is booming, and so is waste. Materials we rely on are becoming scarce, and our old ways can't keep up. At FAIRMAT, we saw a chance to transform. By combining technology and sustainability, we're building a system where growth and impact coexist. We tackled a pressing issue, carbon fiber waste, and created high-performance sustainable materials using advanced technologies. But we didn't stop there. More than innovation, we've reimagined factories to be agile, efficient, and scalable. We want to put the power back into the hands of manufacturers and consumers. And today, we'll show you how.
Hello, welcome to FAIRMAT.
Hello and welcome to FAIRMAT.
Hello.
Bonjour.
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 Bienvenue chez FAIRMAT.
Welcome to FAIRMAT.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for being with us tonight. We are so thankful to share this evening with you and to be able to present FAIRMAT in front of an audience of innovators, of investors, of partners who all share our same passion for innovation. So today we're going to talk about how far we've come with FAIRMAT, but also about what lies ahead. And we'll have the opportunity to hear amazing insight from the people we are fortunate to work with. And so to take you on that journey, I'm delighted to welcome on the stage Ben Sada, FAIRMAT CEO.
Thank you. 4 years ago, we embarked on a bold journey with a simple yet transformative idea. The quantity of material waste is skyrocketing, while the access to virgin resources is more critical every day. What if? What if we could close this growing gap? What if we could pioneer a new era, turning waste into sustainable material? Not just a recycled version of existing materials, but new materials that will be a perfect complement to the existing solution. FAIRMAT was born to drive significant outcomes for industries, to empower consumers with better products, and to protect our planet. In just 4 years, we turned this opportunity into a reality. FAIRMATers have developed a complete technology stack to turn carbon fiber composite waste into a sustainable, high-performing materials. Our technology achieves outstanding results. We are surpassing every competition by far, by a wide margin. Let's take a simple example. For similar application, FAIRMAT materials divide the impact for the environment by 4. FAIRMAT materials are 4 times impacting the environment than any other possible materials. But beyond these numbers, FAIRMAT true strength is its fully integrated industrial system. We call it the FAIR Factory. We actually today operate 2 FAIR factories, one in France, in Nantes, one in Salt Lake City, Utah. The FAIR Factory is nothing like a normal factory. It's more like an ecosystem of technologies where robotics, digital twins, computer vision, and machine learning coexist. All those technology powered by AI allow us to operate the FAIR Factory at an unmatched level. But don't take my word for it. I'm very glad today to present you the 2025 release of the FAIR Factory. So much progress. So much progress in the last 2 years. But to know more about the technologies that lies beyond this factory, beyond the Fair Factory, I'm glad to welcome on stage Matthew, our head of software and robotics. Hi, Matthew.
Hi, Ben. Thank you. So you just saw on this video how our factory works. That's our software that's making it possible. But when we say we have a smart factory, here is actually what we mean. At FAIRMAT, we are obsessed about collecting manufacturing data. Our proprietary software, we call it FAIRTrack, connects every robot and sensor and allows us to collect every data along the manufacturing process. And then we have 5 proprietary softwares that manage this data and communicate to each other. Once augmenting with AI, this ecosystem becomes a digital twin of the material we are manufacturing. And this digital twin allows us to predict the performance of our materials while staying agile to meet our clients' growing needs. Traditionally, quality is measured after manufacturing. But with our digital technology, we do it differently. The quality is built into the process. And why do we do this? Because every waste is different. But the material we need to manufacture must be always the same. So the goal of our technology is to ensure material consistency at the lowest possible cost. And we did it. Our materials are 12 times more stable, exceeding the requirements of most industries. Now, we have shown you how we manufacture. Let me welcome Ben back on stage, and he will explain us what we manufacture.
The core unit we produce in our Fair Factory is this chip. This is the FAIRMAT chip. These 10 square centimeters are the building block for future materials. By combining these chips, we can transform any type of waste into a sustainable, high-performing materials. How that's possible? Think of it like the binary code in computer science. In computer science, we can design the most advanced software just with zeros and one. By combining zeros and one, we can create application. We can make a smartphone running. It's exactly the same. Similarly, at FAIRMAT, by combining those chips, we can answer the most demanding requests from our customers. And you know the best of it? It costs the same or even less than the materials it replaces. For once, the FAIRMAT chip is a greener innovation that does not come with a green premium for manufacturer. In other words, FAIRMAT does not add cost to your supply chain. It reduces the costs. So let's have a look to what has been accomplished in terms of scale the last 2 years. 2 years ago, it was the first Keynote. For those who were here, it was 2023. In 2023, between 2023 and 2025, we have now connected 4 times more robots. Our processes is 20 times smarter. Why? Because we have multiplied by 20 the number of sensors into our processes. So we collect 20 times more data, and Matthew explained it to you what we do with this data. But most importantly, we manufacture those chips 40% faster. And why does that matter? Because I'm very glad to share with you small figures. In the last 3 months, just to meet with the initial demands of our initial customers, we have transformed waste into the area of 7 soccer fields. We have converted that. I could have said 145 paddle racket courts. We love paddle racket at FAIRMAT. We love every racket sport in general because racket sport is a very, very good application for our materials. But better than me, just let's welcome Frédéric from Decathlon Quickma on stage. Thank you, Frédéric.
Thank you, Benjamin. Bon, hello everybody. I'm really happy to be here tonight. First, because it's just an amazing place. I don't know what you think, but really thank you for the organization. It's fantastic. And also, I'm happy to be here because we are working on a fantastic project with FAIRMAT. And I will tell you a little bit more about it. But first, we will talk about the sport and also how we work in Decathlon. So, as you saw, I'm in charge of beach tennis, pickleball, and paddle. And we will talk tonight about paddle especially. So paddle, the good thing is now, I think it's not necessary to explain what it consists in. When I started the project 8 years ago, I had every time to explain that it has nothing to do with a water sport, if you see what I mean. And now it's known as the fastest growing sport in the world. And so we have many reasons. The first one is professionalization of the sport. So it's true that you can see many professional tournaments on TV now that inspires people. Also, the technology allows and facilitates to find first a court available and also a partner. Which was quite difficult before, and now with the technology, it's much easier. Third one is the investment, because obviously to play paddle you need to have some facilities, and we could see a lot of investors in the last years investing on the sport. And the last two ones are really linked to the sport. So the first one explains why it's such a success. The first one is a social component. It's a social sport, especially after the pandemic. It's a criteria very important. And the last one, and maybe the most important, is the accessibility. First time you play paddle, you can have fun. Okay, so they are like if we compare to tennis, it's much easier, and it's a key point. So one interesting figure is 51. 51 is the number of new openings of clubs every week last year. So it's quite impressive. 51 clubs every week, new clubs opening. Okay, so the forecast is a plus 20% for the sport in the coming years. We can talk also about the paddle player. And when we ask the paddle players, and especially the expert one with the high-level player, the first motivation to play paddle is to improve their performances. Actually, it's one of the reasons of the success. It's an addictive sport. Voilà. When you try it, you get stuck to it. And also, on the other hand, they have to face some problems. And the problem number one is the durability. Okay? So 85%, it's the number of reviews, the share of reviews, negative reviews we have concerning the durability of the product. So it's a good example, an excellent racket, but we have maybe a good racket in usage, but we have a problem because it breaks too early and the painting goes too early, etc. So when you manage a brand, you need to define your singularity, how to make the difference in the market. So we decided to go to durable performance. Durable, why? Because, as I said, it's the answer to the pain number one concerning the sport. And performance is the answer to the motivation number one to the sport. Okay? These two are totally linked. It's impossible to manage one of the two without the other one. Because if we can design the most durable racket in the world, if it's not a good racket, we will not sell any. So it's really important to manage the two at the same time. The idea, what we wrote, is we try to be at the level of the best brand in terms of performance, because they are all competing on that topic, but we need to be performant. And we will try to make the difference with the durability. Okay? We can talk now directly linked to FAIRMAT, how we work on innovation. We have 3 steps. The first one is the R&D phase. So it means all the tests we are doing. So we test, we fail, we learn, we fail, we learn again. And depending on the project, it can last a long time. It's exactly what we are doing now with FAIRMAT. We are at the end of the first phase. And I will show you after, the racket we will launch for the second phase. So the second phase will be a quality validation, and in an industrial way, because it's totally different between validating a prototype and validating an industrialization. Okay, so the idea is to launch like a limited edition of a racket, existing racket with the carbon FAIRMAT, and not communicating at all, because the idea is not to have any to do a commercial test. It's a quality test. Okay, so we need to make sure, and it's really important when we launch an innovation, that the quality is at the level required. So that's the racket we will launch, hopefully before the end of the year, responding to this validation phase, so with the FAIRMAT carbon. And then after, once it's validated, the idea is to make the official launch. So our plan is to show that the FAIRMAT carbon is at the level of the best carbon and for the best player. So we will launch the FAIRMAT carbon for our pro racket, which are played by our pro players. Okay, so that's the idea. And then after, to decline with the range. Okay, but to starting from the top, that's the way to start with a good technical image. As a conclusion, I think in Decathlon we are ready to for the future. I think we have identified quite well our goals to attack the market of paddle, and mainly working on our singularity. And also we have a very important strategy in Decathlon, one of the 2 main strategies. The first one is to make the sport accessible to all, and the second one is the sustainability, to protect the planet. Okay, so I think you understand very well that the project of FAIRMAT, it's fantastic because it will allow us to reach the first goal and respecting the second one. So it's not only a very exciting project we are working together, but also a project fully aligned with Decathlon strategy. Thank you.
Thank you, Fred. So you heard about our first partners. Something is very clear. No one would ever compromise on performance for the sake of sustainability. That's good, because with FAIRMAT technology, you don't have to. So let's go back to our vision and just think about the scale for just a few seconds. Over the next 20 years, the quantity of materials to recycle coming from aerospace and wind turbine industry is roughly 190 million tons. It's almost impossible to imagine what it means. So we've just taken a small comparison. It is the weight of 500 Empire State Building in New York, or the weight of 27,000 Eiffel Tower where we are today. So that's huge. So it means that to tackle such a big problem, we need to provide our technology very easily. We need to simplify the access to the technology. Because to tackle this problem, we need FAIRMAT to be in billions of products across dozens of industries. So today I'm excited to tell you that after many years of work, our technology allows us to make a material so easy to process that anyone, any OEM, anywhere could use it instantly. Today, I'm excited to introduce you our new product, the FAIRPly. This is it. This is FAIRPly. Thank you. FAIRPly is a revolution. FAIRPly core value proposition, it is plug-and-play simplicity. When anything you change in industry world takes years. New manufacturing process takes years. New materials takes years. But with FAIRPly, our customers do not need to redesign their product or their manufacturing process because just FAIRPly will fit with it. It even works with thermoplastics and thermosets. You can add a layer of FAIRPly with metals, with foam, with glass fiber, with virgin material, with recycled materials. FAIRPly just can fit into any product. Let's take a very, very quick example. This is just a ski. It's already very complex. You see there is at least 6 materials to make a ski. With FAIRPly, you can just change one of those materials. You can just change one layer of it. And the impact will be huge. Because when you change a lot of materials, you have to create a new product. So it will be a single product. But when you just change one interlayer, you can just change one interlayer for your entire product line. So FAIRPly can scale very, very, very fast. Based on our first development, look at those figures. We've seen that FAIRPly is 3 times faster to implement than previous materials. It reduced manufacturing costs by 5%. And like always, it reduced carbon footprint by 90%. FAIRPly is a perfect solution for any industrial that wants to take a sustainable edge, but fast. And now, let's hear about one of our design partners. I'm very glad to welcome on stage Edouard from Bauer to let us know more about his industry and the FAIRPly.
Good evening, everyone. So, obviously, I'm not here to talk about paddle racket, but mostly hockey sticks. So, I will, talk about, our journey versus sustainability and the reality of hockey gears. So, I will let the stick here for now. Okay, so sorry, I'm not super easy with those ones. So I will just talk about our story. So we are a hockey company. We were founded in Canada in 1927, so almost 100 years ago, by the Bauer family, and they started to develop hockey skates back in the day to give access, to the ice to people. And then in the last 100 years, we developed other gears. So you have example here. So we are able to equip goalies and players from head to toe with skates, sticks, helmets, and protective gears. We also provide apparel lines with hats, coats, and so on. And finally, recently, we launched on the bottom left side of the slide a sharpening machine to sharpen the skate and the steel portion of the skate to make sure that people are able to glide on the ice. If not, they won't be able to play, right? In terms of numbers, we're number one in terms of market share around the world, so we are the top brand, if I could say, and I don't want to be pretentious here. Then, in terms of NHL, so National Hockey League in US, Canada, and also for the Women Professional League, we are number one in terms of skate and sticks. And then, in terms of people playing hockey around the world, based on the IIHF, there are around 1.5 million, maybe more, playing hockey around the world. In terms of pie, we are 1/3 of the pie in America or in US, another third in Canada, and then the last third would be between Europe, Asia, and some country in Africa. Our goal is to inspire and empower the player generation after generation and make sure they have access to the game and the sport. To achieve that, we invested in an R&D center in Canada, in Montreal area, so close to Montreal, up north. And there are 100 people dedicated to innovation and R&D over there. So the product is king for us, and we want to make sure that people have the best product to play the game and perform with that. We have a lot of patents also, almost 600 patents to protect ourselves from the competition and make sure we show people that we are in an innovative company. And finally, we have different teams inside the company working in R&D. So we have designer, product development team. We also have an advanced team working on the product that we will launch 5 to 6 years from now. And we also have a performance lab helping us to characterize the product with teams. So we have partnerships with hockey teams where we put the product on ice to give feedback from a performance standpoint, from a durability standpoint as well. So similar to what we were presenting with Frederic in terms of paddle rackets. So similar approach on the hockey side. Innovation again, really important for us. We want to have the best product, innovate from every sphere, not only on the skate category, which is the category I represent tonight, but also we are a performance-driven company. If I take the stick, since I'm more familiar with the product we developed with Rosalie, my colleague here, this is one of the drivers of the company. So we've been developing, innovate every single year to be the best and make sure that today people want to play with our product. The focus was on performance, but also cost, because we want to make sure that people have access to the sport and make sure they will buy the products. If you have an expensive product, there is nobody who's willing to buy it, right? And then a few years ago, we see an opportunity happening around sustainability. We know that the government in Europe are asking for more sustainable products. So we know that it's coming, and that's where the journey with sustainability starts with Bauer. We are a huge carbon fiber consumer, so we produce a lot of sticks and we consume a lot of carbon fiber. So at some point, we need to think about the earth and the future, right? But however, back in the day, the reality was there was no really material that will answer our request in terms of performance and durability. So I will show you some reality in terms of performance, right? The constraint that we have. First one, if you take a shot here, so you have a player, you see that the stick will hit the ice, but then you need to bend the stick a lot. So you have a high deformation of the stick. Usually composite parts are very stiff, doesn't deform a lot. But ourselves, we have this high level of deformation, so we need a material that will maintain the strength of the stick, shot over shot, game over game, and make sure the pop of the stick when you shot remain the same. Secondly, you'll see that the sport is a very gentle sport. So you have a lot of slashes. So you can see slashes, impact. So your stick is solicited, in different situations. So I wouldn't say it's an addictive sport compared to paddle, but people who will play it, will watch the game, will love it. So we need to take in consideration impact resistance. That's the main, goal that we want to achieve here. Because the thing that we want to avoid is that kind of situation. We don't want, to be at the occasion where the player is about to score and the stick break in front of the goal, So durability, one more time, is really important, right? The journey started where, actually 1 year ago, 2 years ago, we went at the DHE show, and we're working, in this, dynamous composite show in Paris, and we saw, when going to Decathlon, a product that was on the FAIRMAT booth, where we realized that, okay, there is maybe a material here that could answer our question in terms of impact resistance and in terms of strength. So if Decathlon was able to make something, we should be able to do something as well. I'm kidding. But then that's where the journey started for us, right? So what's next for us? We are really excited to enter into a new journey and evaluate, a material that could potentially answer, our needs. So when I go back to the previous slide I have, this opportunity become slightly closer now, and we can start, to evaluate this material in the future and see what we can do with that. That's about it for me. Thank you.
So earlier I told you, switching to a better world needs to be easy, needs to be seamless, and why not a little bit more ambitious? So that's why there is one more thing that I need to share with you. FAIRPly isn't just about making sustainable materials easier to adopt. FAIRPly is tackling something equally important: waste. Yes, we do recycled materials, but we want to tackle the waste issue. So let me deep dive and show you how it works. Okay? Can I have a FAIRPly? So, whatever the material you use, when you manufacture a product, you start with a standard format. So this one is FAIRPly. And your manufacturers will extract whatever they need to extract from these materials to make a part. What is extracted is used to make a paddle racket, okay, or hockey stick, or whatever. What is very fun, and no one talked about it, is what is the leftover. This is what we call the cutoff. In every manufacturing process, everywhere in the world, whatever is manufactured from resources, there is that, the leftover. The leftover represents 10 to 30% of the consumption of materials. 10 to 30%. We have addressed this issue with FAIRPly, because as you can see or understand, we can detach the chips from the FAIRPly, and we can recover their historical data, because what Matthew told you, we are collecting the data all the time. And because we have the chips and we have the data, we can create a new FAIRPly. So once again, you need to get it, and I'm sure that now you get it. Waste is an opportunity. By using FAIRPly, more than just providing a better material, high-performing and sustainable, we can reduce the material consumption up to 30%. This perfectly reflects our vision, combining growth and impact, and empowering consumer with better products. So here you got it. Avoiding waste is a key. It's a key disruptive technology for industrial and to get more impact. But what is the remaining source of waste? The end of life. And here is a very hard truth, okay? Recycled materials, they are not recyclable. Most of the recycled materials cannot be recycled again. And at FAIRMAT, we think to build tomorrow. And we think that building tomorrow without thinking about after tomorrow is a mistake. So what happened after tomorrow? Let's take a few minutes to think about it. Imagine a world where materials can be recycled and reused indefinitely. In these worlds, material supply is secured for industrial forever. In this world, consumer could get better products with a minimum impact for the planet. In this world, we can avoid 190 million tons of carbon composite to go to waste. So now stop dreaming. This world is not just a vision. FAIRMAT technology can make it happen. The entire FAIRMAT team is very proud to reveal for the first time our new technology, a breakthrough that is closing the loop of carbon fiber composites. Let me introduce to you today FAIRMAT Infinity Recycling. To talk about this revolution, I'm very glad to welcome on stage Michael, our Chief Scientific Officer. I will stay on stage this time for translation, okay? So Michael, welcome.
Thank you.
So please explain to us, what is FAIRMAT Infinity Recycling and how does it work?
So FAIRMAT Infinity Recycling is the process by which we take a cold atmospheric plasma. So this is the treatment that you see here. Plasma is a big fancy word, but I'll explain it in just a minute. And as you know, our plates are made of these carbon fiber chips that Ben showed, and a resin, which is a glue that sticks them together. And so what this technology does is it just removes the glue selectively. So it's a patented process, and we spent a lot of time developing it. And through a very strong mastery and control of it, we selectively remove only the resin and leave the chips and the carbon fiber untouched and intact so that we can reuse the chips, we can recover them with our robotic arms, and then reuse them and redeploy them in new products.
I would like to show you a part, just to explain it to you like very simply, okay? This is a composite part, okay? Most advanced material technology ever. Michael, can I say that with FAIRMAT Infinity Recycling, we can just take this part and recover the chips?
Yes,
is that
absolutely.
right? Is it working like that?
Yes, so I mean, even crazier than you don't have to pry it off. So we actually have it to the point where you can go and pick it up with a vacuum suction cup. So the chips are really quite loose, and we have our robots come and pick them up. So it is, yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool. It's great to do that.
In terms of impact for the environment, can you explain to us what are the advantages of FAIRMAT Infinity Recycling?
Yeah. So the big thing is that most of the pollution comes from the petrochemical products that are used to make your carbon fiber. And so given the fact that we don't actually touch the carbon fiber and that we reuse that, you save most of the emissions from that. The other thing, as I mentioned, it's a cold atmospheric plasma. And so when you're thinking this, you should not be thinking the sun or fusion reactors. You should be thinking fluorescent light bulbs or plasma TV. And the whole point is that you're not burning it like you are with pyrolysis. It's not a heat-driven process. The fact is you want your electrons to do the chemical reactions to react with only the resin. And electrons are 2,000 times lighter than protons or neutrons. And so it's the equivalent of, instead of throwing a basketball, you would move a truck to transport the basketball. In terms of, a basketball is about 1 kilogram, 2,000 kilograms for a truck. So what we normally do is ridiculous, and this technology offers a very targeted way to only remove the resin. And so because of that, we need to add a little bit. You don't get anything for free, but we retain about 90% of the material, and then we can reuse the chips over and over.
Michael, we are called FAIRMAT, so please don't say that pyrolysis, solvolysis, and all the other competitive technology are ridiculous. Okay? But maybe they are. No, just how many times can we do infinity recycling?
Yeah, so in principle, you can do it an infinite number of times because the chips themselves aren't damaged. And so it depends really on the quality of the materials. And given we receive aerospace materials, planes are subjected to incredible forces and stress, high temperatures, low temperatures, high pressures, low pressures for 40 years. And so we expect that we should be able to do something similar with our materials.
And just a last question. There is some people here that are engineers or doctors. I mean, we know that it's impossible to do things for infinity number of time. I mean, just explain to us what is the limit, what is the trick?
Yeah, so there's no free lunch, and nothing is for free. The big thing here is that you have to remove the glue that's holding these chips together. So you do have to replace some of that. But as I mentioned, most of the emissions come from the fibers. And so if you can remove just the glue that's sticking together these chips, you need to add a little bit to replace that. But you largely conserve everything else. And so it's about 90% of the material that you should be able to recover. So,
thank you, Michael. Thank you.
It's a pleasure.
So this is infinity recycling. We're just closing the loop, but let's try to understand the potential of this solution. First, we recover up to 90% of the materials, of the FAIRMAT materials. Second things, it emits 10 times less CO2. Every figure about CO2, you can addition it. So now we are like 50% and 90% and not 10 times. So actually, we are really like talking about like bringing impact of materials near zero. And then we don't know, but I mean, probably at least 40 years. We can do that at least 40 years because as far as I know, aircraft are flying 40 years and we use aircraft materials. So 40 years, maybe 100 years. I mean, we'll see. And I think in 100 years, technology would have evolved a little bit. The keynote is soon to reach an end. Yet, I want to share with you one last testimony. FAIRMAT early adopters. It's a crazy company. They manufacture in the US, and it is in their blood. And they have just released a new product with FAIRMAT inside. So I'm very glad to welcome on stage Thomas, DPS Key Manager.
Thank you, Ben. It's a pleasure to be up here. And again, my name is Tumas Loxo. I'm the Senior Vice President at DPS Skis. And my whole career has been really formed around composites, whether it's been aerospace or recreation or medical. But my true passion is skiing and carbon fiber. So I've seen a lot of the benefits of, I've been doing this for 30 years. There's incredible benefits of carbon fiber, but there's also some difficulties. And we highlighted some of those in the circularity. Every, metals and thermoplastics and glass, and there are solutions out there today, but to date, not in earnest until the last few years have there been an opportunity here. So I'm really passionate about that, proud to be up here to show you some of the learnings that we have had here. So there's three real ones that I want to focus on, and not highlighting the negative side of it, but often with circularity, there's a compromise. But we have found that you can improve performance and improve circularity with this technology. That's a win-win. That is a common theme tonight. Two, our engineering toolbox has a new dimension. We have, continuous fibers are what composites are about, but we have the strength of a continuous fiber and the damping of a discontinuous. So this is a new toolbox that our engineers are just pouring over, and the skis that are on the snow now are benefiting from this new dimension. So the other thing here is that look at these sports. All these are carbon fiber. The premium of these sports are carbon fiber. You don't see too many tennis rackets out of aluminum or fiberglass anymore. Golf clubs, the heads are carbon fiber. The shafts, when was the last time you saw a steel shaft on the premium side of the sport? Formula One, road bikes, mountain bikes, everything is carbon fiber at the very top, except one awkward category is skis. And it is something that is dominated by fiberglass and metal. DPS has been doing this for 20 years, and we kind of stand alone and really doing carbon fiber solutions, but we've been kind of weird. We've been out there and doing things differently, and it's kind of taken an acquired taste at times. But we've really improved the damping and solutions here. So this is who we are. Carbon fiber is the beating heart of DPS, the key ingredient of our premium skis, handcrafted those who live and breathe the sport. That's all we do. We've been in the free ride market, we've been in touring, we've been in all mountain, but one category that we haven't really dove into is front side carving. This is a different market. It's the majority of the ski business. We've been kind of operating in this smaller niche, but this is where you're pulling high Gs, you're catapulting skiers down a controlled piste, and it's a new category for us, but it's something that 75 years ago, Howard Head put metal in a ski. And it's been that way ever since. There's been something about metal that people like in skis. And while we've done some different things in freeride, it's a much younger sport. We're not here to change what people like about carving skis. We want to learn, what is it about metal? We want to build a metal ski without the metal. We want to do it our way, the carbon fiber way. So that was our thesis here. But we needed to find some new technologies and also find some people that knew something about pulling G's on hard snow. I don't know how many of you ski, but Ted Ligety is a legend in the race world. He's a neighbor of mine in Park City, and he is two-time gold medal winner, 5 World Cup champions, 52 podiums, 26 of them were gold. Unbelievable. If you're going to partner with someone who knows something about hard snow, it's Ted Ligety, and he's got a desk right next to mine. He's not just an ambassador, he's part of the engineering team, part of the strategy. I was down in New Zealand with him all summer, and he's doing amazing things on skis. So that was a little bit of background as to as to what we're doing. But the technology behind this, how do we build a metal ski without the metal? You're looking at IMUs here. We went and mic'd and put accelerometers on carbon fiber skis. We know something about what's happening in these skis statically, but on snow, there's a lot of dynamic things happening. So we went and mapped all the forces happening to these skis and acceleration, vibrations, all the modal analysis, and we did that with metal as well. So understanding what's happening on those skis, re-importing that to our finite element analysis programs, and going, what is it about metal that people like? It's a traditional field, but we want to add excitement of carbon fiber, the DPS way. So that's the problem that we were looking to solve here. And now FAIRMAT. We found. We partnered with them almost 2 years ago now, and it was really hey, let's talk about that circularity, but wait a minute, this discontinuous, continuous, like there's a new toolbox here, and how do we go and take a carbon fiber ski and harness it? So what you're looking at right here is basically the transmission of the ski, this binding plate where the human interfaces with this sandwich beam. And using high modulus laminates, you need to temper at times. You can get too exciting. We think metal skis are boring, actually. It's an isotropic material and kind of one-track mind, and we like anisotropic, but you can kind of go overkill. So we've used fiberglass in this area for years to try to harness some of that power and find that balance of power transmission and comfort. But working with the FAIRMAT engineers, now we have developed in these skis here this blend of power transmission but controlled. And that's kind of the key to this. How do you efficiently transfer power from the human into this beam and still tailor some of those properties? So that has been critical in the overall feel of the ski. And here you can see skis being built in our Salt Lake City factory. We've been doing this for 20 years now. It's I think a little less known in certain circles of Europe, but in key zones, we have a good reputation here. And this is all we do. We have one factory. We only build our skis, do it out of carbon fiber, do it the hard way. You don't see the wood core inside of here, but the top sheet's coming down. This was last week. And we build skis all year round, every day. And these are skis that are in production right now. But it's not just about performance. We live in a connected world here. And how do we deal with cost? How do we deal with supply chain? How do we deal with actually commercialization? And this is actually one of my most proud slides here. And I talked about the historic element of composites in Utah. Hexcel is 18 kilometers away from the FAIRMAT Salt Lake City headquarters. DPS, you can ride your bike from FAIRMAT to DPS. It's 5.5 kilometers. So this is not a supply chain. This is like a supply dot or a tiny little arc. And I can't quite see the French Alps from here, but I know you have fantastic mountains. Maybe if I went a little higher, I could. But we have very iconic ski resorts right out of doorstep. I live in Park City, and here's Alta, 45 kilometers away. So this is what I really like. It's kind of we call it press to peak. But let me show you a little bit about the product. There's 3 new skis that we're launching, and we're showing also new edge angles that have never been realized before, and Ted's an amazing control of that. But there's a 79, 89, and a 94, and I have the 79 on stage here. DPS has been innovators in performance skiing for 20 years, but primarily in powder skiing and backcountry skiing. You're not always blessed with those soft snow conditions, and what we found is that carbon fiber has an amazing benefit on hard snow.
This team is doing stuff that's not done in the ski industry. We're using 21st century carbon technology in skis, and it's amazing to see how they ski differently. We're trying to get very scientific with it. We have accelerometers in the snow measuring vibrations, how much the ski flaps or bites and chatters, computer modeling, instructions and side cuts before we even touch the snow. The ability for us to engineer unbelievable skis is limitless.
that last picture. I don't know, you guys running the cameras, that's a $5,000 camera that has armpits going over, and can he do this? Yeah, he's gonna be fine. He's not gonna hit it. This is the lineup. That was a beautiful sunrise in New Zealand. And 3 of these models. This one here is the Pieceworks 79. And new technology can be created in a lab and stays in a lab. This is real technology that is cost effective, solving problems. It's here today. It's in production. It's on stores. You can buy it right now. It's out on the snow right now. So that's, I think, it kind of gives me shivers saying that. Like it's been a dream of Ben for how long, and his team, and here it is. I do want to thank this team for championing this kind of last frontier of circularity. It is, that's the beauty of composites, is they last so long. There hasn't been an economy to really need to deal with some of these problems in composites. But it's here today, and I think Howard Head was an innovator 75 years ago. By that time, it's come and gone, and metal doesn't stand a chance anymore. So, thank you very much.
Thank you, Thomas. So just before we arrive on stage, like Thomas told me that this ski will make me a better skier. So actually, I'm going to buy a pair, because maybe this year I will be able to follow up on my wife in the slope. So that's pretty cool. Today, we went far beyond materials. FAIRMAT technology goes far beyond sustainability. We are tackling advanced materials challenges at the scale of the planet. With a $650 billion market for sustainable materials, with billions of dollars of waste to recycle, we see the waste differently than other companies. I personally believe that the waste industry is the opportunity of my generation. It may be the biggest business opportunity of our generation. Maybe it's like the semiconductor business 20 years ago. Think of it. 20 years ago, everyone was competing for semiconductors. And now there is 1-2 big companies that just are driving the entire market. And this is all because of technology. We believe it will be exactly the same for future materials. So, what is the plan? And how we will tackle it? Very simple plan. 3 objectives. First objective is going to profitability, to demonstrate profitability. Because profitability is sustainability. We want our profit to be the leverage of our company. And a Series B funding is here to come and to help us to transition to that scheme. Second thing is about awareness. We want every consumer in the world that buy DPS ski or other product made with FAIRMAT to know that it is the smartest choice. Not just a good choice for the planet, but the smartest choice. And the last things, you've seen like FAIRMAT Infinity recycling technology is a game changer. So the last things we want to do is we want to work with category leader and the largest waste managers in order to make FAIRMAT Infinity recycling not just a good technology, but a new business model that will disrupt everything. When I look at these 4 first years, when I look at how agile, how smart are the FAIRMATers, when I look to the last 4 years and I see how deep is the relationship that we have built with our customers, our partners, our investors, I can tell you something very simple. We are here to make it happen. Thank you.